So how do you explain the grinding, just deeply complex reality of adult labor to someone whose biggest daily concern is whether the blue cup or the red cup is going to be used for their juice?
Right. I mean, it is the absolute definition of a communication challenge.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
taking this massive, invisible socioeconomic system and attempting to translate it into a language that a developing brain can actually process.
Without just completely terrifying them.
Exactly. Without causing confusion or fear.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the context for it.
And, well, that is the mission for today's deep dive. Welcome, everyone. We are looking at this fascinating set of excerpts from a guide. It's titled Explaining the Purpose of Work to Children.
It's a great piece of source material.
It really is. And it provides these 3 distinct responses tailored for 3 different age groups. But, we aren't just reading a parenting manual today.
No, definitely not.
We are going to use these specific questions about work as a window into human development. We want to map out how a child's understanding of the world fundamentally evolves as they grow.
Because the underlying text here, it's really a masterclass in how to decode human communication.
Yeah, completely.
What you see in this guide isn't merely like a vocabulary adjustment for toddlers versus older kids. It's not just using smaller words.
Right.
It is a fundamental shift in understanding what the child is actually asking beneath the surface of their words. Like, what is the real question here?
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to start at the very beginning of this developmental journey, age 3.
Oh, the toddler years.
Right, exactly. So the guide gives us this scenario where a 3-year-old child looks up and asks, "Why do you work so much?"
The classic question.
And when I first read that, my immediate instinct was to think about paying bills, right?
But a 3-year-old doesn't care about a mortgage.
No, they don't even know what a mortgage is. This isn't an economics question at all.
Not at all. I mean, a 3-year-old has absolutely zero concept of an economy or, utility bills or inflation.
Right.
At 3 years old, a child's brain is still heavily governed by the amygdala.
Okay, remind us what that does again.
Sure. So that is the deeply emotional, survival-focused part of the brain. It's the alarm system.
Ah, okay. The alarm system.
Yeah. So when they ask why you're leaving, they are asking a primal question about their own physical and emotional survival. They're basically asking, am I going to be okay?
So knowing that, the source provides a very specific suggested response for the parent to use here. And I'm going to quote it exactly. "I work to help take care of our family and keep us safe."
Yes.
And the explanation the guide gives for this exact phrasing is that the parent's primary goal is to, quote, reassure emotional availability.
And that phrase right there, reassure emotional availability, that is the skeleton key to understanding this entire age group.
Wow. Okay. How so?
Well, we have to strip away our adult context, right?
Yeah.
And look at the world purely through their eyes.
Which is hard to do.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But to them, the physical absence of a primary caregiver isn't just like a scheduling conflict. It's not like, oh, mom has a meeting.
Right.
It registers in their brain as a potential loss of protection.
I picture it like a physical analogy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think of a 3-year-old's worldview as a tiny, incredibly fragile bubble.
A bubble, I like that.
Yeah, and inside that bubble is everything they know to be true and secure, right? Their toys, their bed, and most importantly, their primary caregivers.
The anchors of their world.
Exactly. You, the parent, are essentially the atmosphere inside that bubble.
Oh, wow.
So when you put on your coat and walk out the front door, or honestly, even if you just close the door to the home office to take a Zoom call.
Which happens all the time now.
All the time. But when you do that, you are threatening the structural integrity of that bubble.
And the physical absence triggered of those internal alarm bells we talked about, the amygdala goes off. They don't have the cognitive architecture yet to understand that you are going to a place called an office to perform tasks to earn a wage.
Right. That's all just Charlie Brown teacher noises to them.
Exactly. They just know you are gone.
So the parent in this scenario, they don't need to explain how the bubble is constructed.
No.
They don't need to explain the economic engineering of paying rent to keep the bubble inflated. Right? They just need to look the kid in the eye and promise that the bubble isn't going to pop while they are out of sight.
What's fascinating here is the absolute precision of the word safe in that suggested response.
Yeah, keep us safe.
Right. I work to help take care of our family and keep us safe.
Yeah.
The guide specifically steers the parent toward that word.
Yeah.
Because think about it. We might be tempted to say, I work so I can buy you that new toy, or...
Or like, I work so we can go to the zoo this weekend.
Exactly.
And those definitely seem like things a 3-year-old would respond positively to, right? I mean, toys in the zoo are literally their favorite things in the world.
They are. But those answers fail to address the root anxiety.
Oh, because it doesn't stop the alarm bells.
Precisely. Promising a toy doesn't soothe the amygdala.
Right.
By explicitly using the word safe, the parent fires a direct dart of reassurance right into the panicked part of the child's brain.
That makes so much sense.
You are taking the abstract concept of a job and you're translating it into the foundational concept of survival.
It completely reframes the departure.
It does.
Like the child is essentially asking, are you abandoning me? And the parent's response translates to, no, I am actively protecting you even when you can't see me.
For the 3-year-old, work isn't a place you go to type on a keyboard or, sit in boring meetings.
Right, right.
Work becomes this magical, unseen shield that the parent goes to maintain.
A shield, yes.
It reassures the child that the parent's absence has a protective purpose. They aren't just leaving. They are out there fortifying the perimeter.
If we look at how often we, as adults, answer the literal question a person asks, instead of addressing the emotional panic driving the question, it's quite revealing.
Oh, it's a huge trap we all fall into.
The 3-year-old's why is basically a request for a verbal hug. It's a guarantee of ongoing presence.
But, that emotional bubble eventually has to stretch, right? It has to let the outside world in.
Yeah, they do have to grow up eventually.
Exactly. As a child grows, their brain develops beyond purely survival-based thinking. They start to observe the mechanics of the environment around them.
Which brings us perfectly to the next stage in our source material.
The 6-year-old.
Right. The child is now 6 years old. They are stepping out of the house, they're going to school, and they're noticing that other people exist.
They're part of a community now.
Exactly. So the scenario presented for the 6-year-old involves a slight shift in the language. The child asks, why do parents work?
Notice the difference there.
Yeah, it is a bit more generalized, isn't it? It's not just why do you work, but why do parents work?
The cognitive landscape has completely shifted here.
How so?
Well, the anxieties have evolved from emotional survival to a curiosity about the physical mechanics of society.
Yeah.
They are entering the tangible, concrete world. I mean, they see you hand over a plastic card at the grocery store, and suddenly you get to walk out with bags of food.
Right, it's magic.
To them, yeah.
Yeah.
But they recognize a transaction is occurring. They see the exchange.
Okay, so the guide's suggested response for this stage is, quote, work helps families pay for food, homes, clothes, and many important things.
Tangible items.
Right. And the explanation provided for this shift in strategy is, quote, concrete examples help children understand money.
Yes.
But I have to push back on this instruction for a second.
Oh, okay, let's hear.
Because when I read that, I was genuinely confused.
Why is that?
Well, a 6-year-old definitely knows the word money.
Sure they do.
They probably have a piggy bank in their room. They might even get an allowance. So why wouldn't a parent just say, we work to make money? I mean, why go through the cumbersome trouble of listing out food, homes, and clothes when to make money is the most direct, honest answer you could possibly give?
What's fascinating here is, and this is a crucial distinction in developmental psychology, while a 6-year-old might recognize a dollar bill or know the word money, the actual concept of money is wildly abstract to them.
Wait, really? But they know you use it to buy things?
It's part of a sequence, yes. But currency as a medium of exchange, that's way over their heads.
Oh, I see.
Think about it. You cannot eat a dollar bill.
Well, no.
A dollar bill will not keep the rain off your head. A digit changing on a banking app on your phone provides absolutely no physical warmth.
Right. Money is just a symbol.
Exactly. It is an adult fiction. We all just agreed it has value.
That's a good point.
To a 6-year-old, money is just a piece of paper or a shiny coin. It has no intrinsic sensory value.
Right. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't feel like a blanket.
Precisely. So if you answer their question by saying, I work to make money, you are taking one massive abstract concept labor and explaining it using another massive abstract concept currency.
Oh, wow.
You haven't actually answered the question in a way their brain can digest.
That puts it in a totally different light. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, you have to translate the abstraction of the economy into the literal things they touch and feel every single day.
Like the cotton shirt they put on that morning?
Yes.
Or the bowl of cereal they are eating right at that very moment.
Exactly. The physical roof over their head.
So by using what the source calls concrete examples, The parent takes the invisible macroeconomic system and anchors it in the child's immediate physical reality.
You're showing them the causal link. You're saying, my parent goes to this place called work, and the physical result is the apple I am holding in my hand.
It takes something as theoretical as Maslow's hierarchy of needs and makes it entirely tactile for a child.
It really does. It helps the 6-year-old build a logical bridge between the parent's absence and their own physical comfort.
Right.
Because at 6, they are little scientists trying to figure out cause and effect. Work equals food. Work equals shelter.
It makes what could be a chaotic world seem orderly, predictable and manageable.
Exactly.
And honestly, when you break it down like that, it's a very grounding exercise for the adult saying it too.
Absolutely.
Like, it cuts through all the corporate jargon, the career ambitions, the endless emails, and it brings it all the way back to the primal basics. I go to work so we can eat and have a safe place to sleep.
Which is why it resonates so deeply with a child at that cognitive stage. They need the physical proof of the labor.
And the illusion that the world is just a simple, perfectly orderly machine of cause and effect, it doesn't last forever, does it?
Unfortunately, no, it does not.
Because as we move to the final stage in our source material, the innocence really starts to crack.
Yeah, this is a tough transition.
We're looking at the 9-year-old. Double digits are right around the corner.
And the cognitive leap from 6 to 9 is immense.
I can imagine.
A 9-year-old is highly observant. They have developed the capacity to see that the world isn't perfectly easy. And more importantly, they start noticing the cracks in the adult facade.
They see behind the curtain.
Exactly.
So the guide presents the question from the 9-year-old, and interestingly, the phrase "so much" returns from the 3-year-old stage. The child asks, "Why do parents work so much?"
The reintroduction of so much carries a lot of weight here.
Yeah.
It implies observation of volume, of burden. They aren't just asking about the function of work. They're asking about the weight of it.
And the suggested parent voice reflects that observation. It becomes highly nuanced.
Let's hear it.
Okay, quote, "Adults work to support their families and responsibilities. Sometimes balancing work and family can be difficult, but love for family stays important."
Right.
And the guide's reasoning for this complex answer is incredibly direct. Quote, "This age notices stress and sacrifice."
Confronting the fact that a child notices stress and sacrifice is a heavy realization for any caregiver.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Think of a tightrope walker.
A tightrope walker. Okay.
When a kid is 3 or 6, they look up at the parent on the tightrope, and the parent is smiling, making the act look entirely effortless.
Like magic.
Exactly. The child believes the parent is magical and cannot fall. But the 9-year-old is different.
Very different.
The 9-year-old is watching that parent walk the tightrope, and they can clearly see the parent wobbling.
Oh, yeah.
They see the sweat on the parent's brow.
Right.
They recognize the sheer physical and mental effort it takes just to stay on the wire without falling.
Because the child's observational skills have matured to the point where they can read nonverbal cues with startling accuracy.
They miss nothing.
Nothing. They hear the heavy sigh when the laptop opens back up after dinner.
Oh, man.
They see the tension in your jaw during a phone call. They feel the rushed, anxious energy in the morning when everyone is trying to get out the door.
Right. And if the parent looks down from that tightrope while they're visibly wobbling, sweating, and says, "Everything is perfectly fine, I just worked to buy you clothes,"
The kid knows it is an outright lie,
completely.
which is incredibly destabilizing for a 9-year-old.
I would imagine so.
Because if they can clearly perceive that you are stressed out, but you flatly deny that you are stressed, you are essentially gaslighting their intuition.
Wow.
You're teaching them not to trust their own eyes and ears.
That is so damaging. And this brings us to the brilliant construction of the suggested response. Let's look at the first half again. Adults work to support their families and responsibilities.
It broadens the scope of the world.
Yes. It introduces the word responsibilities, acknowledging that the parent is a citizen of a wider community. They have obligations beyond just feeding the household.
But the real turning point of the excerpt is the next sentence.
Sometimes balancing work and family can be difficult.
Exactly. Naming the difficulty is a profound act of validation.
It's the parent openly admitting, "Yes, your observation is correct. I am wobbling on the tightrope."
And doing that builds immense trust.
Really?
Just admitting it.
Yes, because the parent is confirming the child's reality. By naming the difficulty out loud, You remove some of its terrifying unspoken power.
Like turning on the light in a dark room.
Precisely. You pull the stress out of the shadows and make it a shared, acknowledged reality, rather than this secret, simmering tension that the kid doesn't understand.
But the guide knows you can't just drop that heavy truth and walk away.
Right. You can't just say, life is hard, and leave the room.
No. So it provides this vital, crucial anchor at the very end of the quote. But love for family stays important.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of child psychology, this raises an important question. Why is that specific reassurance so critical at age 9?
Yeah, why do they need to hear that exactly then? It comes down to the unique cognitive state of a 9-year-old. They are starting to understand complex social dynamics and cause and effect in relationships, but, and this is key, they still operate with a highly egocentric view of the universe.
They still believe they are the main character,
Absolutely.
and everything revolves around their actions.
Precisely. They are transitioning from being the center of the universe to being a participant in a society.
Yeah,
And that messy middle ground creates a lot of anxiety.
I bet.
So if a 9-year-old sees a parent incredibly stressed out by the burden of work, and the parent doesn't explicitly explain the context of that stress, the child's brain will connect the dots incorrectly.
What do you mean?
They will think, Mom is stressed because she has to work to pay for my new shoes, my travel sports team. Therefore, Mom's stress is my fault.
Oh, wow. That's heartbreaking.
It is. They take the burden of the adult sacrifice and place it squarely on their own shoulders.
They internalize the unacknowledged stress as personal guilt.
Exactly. So, by adding that final clause, but love for family stays important, the parent is actively preventing that guilt from taking root. They are deliberately separating the burden of the work from the value of the child.
That's powerful.
They are saying, the work is hard, the balance is stressful, and yes, I am tired, but you are not the burden. My love for you is entirely separate from this stress, and it is unwavering.
It basically severs that false causal link in the kid's head.
It does.
The parent is assuring them, I carry this weight because I love you, not because you are a weight.
Yes.
That is an incredibly delicate, sophisticated piece of psychological maneuvering.
It really is. It respects their growing maturity to see the harsh realities of adult life while still providing a secure emotional safety net for them to fall back into.
Yeah.
It treats the 9-year-old almost like a junior partner in the family dynamic. It's trusting their ability to handle a complex truth as long as the foundation of love is secure.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
That's the big question.
We just spent this time analyzing 3 tiny excerpts from a brief parenting guide, moving from age 3 to 6 to 9, and what emerges is a complete, detailed map of human empathetic communication.
It goes far beyond parenting advice, really.
It really does. Even if you never interact with children, this progression is a masterclass in how to speak to anyone.
Absolutely.
Because at 3, communication was entirely about providing emotional safety and quelling primal panic.
Right.
At 6, it was about translating abstract concepts into concrete, tactile reality so they could understand the mechanics.
Yes.
And at 9, it was about acknowledging complex stress while fiercely reaffirming the core relationship. It proves that a good answer isn't just about reciting objective facts.
The facts are secondary.
Yeah.
They're secondary to what the specific audience sitting in front of you actually needs to hear in their exact moment of development or distress.
It's about tailoring the message so that the listener can actually absorb the truth without being overwhelmed, alienated, or made to feel guilty.
And, if we pull back and apply this logic to our own adult lives,
Yeah.
it leaves us with a rather profound question to consider.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about that 9-year-old. They intuitively pick up on the stress of the people around them. They see the wobble on the tightrope.
Right.
And despite growing up and becoming more aware of how the world works, they desperately need that verbal reassurance that the parent's love for the family stays important despite the visible stress.
They need to hear the actual words out loud.
Exactly. So how does that apply to the fully grown adults in our lives?
Oh, wow.
When we are burned out, when we are incredibly busy with our own work, our own daily grind, our partners, our friends, and our colleagues,
Yeah.
they see us wobbling on the tightrope too.
They definitely do.
Do they secretly need that exact same reassurance? Even as adults, when the people we love are visibly stressed by life, do we still need to hear them explicitly say that despite the chaos, despite the difficulty of balancing it all, the relationship is still the priority?
I mean, I think we do. That's really something to think about next time you log off for the day.
It absolutely is.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Take care, everyone.